Hello, and thank you for joining me today. We are up high in the sort of mountains, as you can see. This location is called Prescott National Forest. And the reason we're here is for this. This is the new BMW XM. And it's quite an interesting debutante because it is the first dedicated M model that BMW has rolled out since the M1, which was introduced back in the late 70s. So unlike, say, other models like the X3M, X4M, X5M, X6M, M2, M3, M4, M5, this is a standalone M model. So you can only get it as an M model and nothing else. And it'll be positioned at the sort of at the pointy end of BMW's SUV lineup, so above the X5M and X6M. And in the UAE, if you're watching from the Middle East, this will be starting price of around 750,000 dirhams. And what you get is this rather offbeat looking thing. So I'll get into the styling in a bit, but I'll tell you some of the core stats. So propulsion comes from a 4.4 litre twin turbo V8 with a hybrid system. It puts out 653 horsepower, 800 newton meters, and this is a heavy car. It's 2.75 tons. But even so, it does 0 to 100 in 4.3 seconds and can hit 250 kilometers an hour flat out. So it's quick. It's not as quick as, let's say, the Urus Performante or the DBX, Aston Martin DBX 707, or certainly not the Ferrari Purosangue, which I just tested last week. But anyway, it's quick. We've driven it across some fairly sort of twisty and challenging roads, and I will say that it's a heavy car. There's no getting away from the mass of the car, but it is still quite agile and it can corner quite flat. So you have a 48 volt anti-roll system, active sway bars, you have full air suspension all around, and you have this rather offbeat styling. So you have these sort of slimline headlights, very sort of slit-like and sinister, a little bit like the 7 Series and the new X7, and it's very sharp edge and angular, as you can see. So let me know in the comments what you think of the styling. I'm kind of coming around to it. I saw the concept initially a year and a half ago, and I just thought, what WTF is that? But having sort of lived with it for a while, and also with the production car, they've kind of toned down the body language a bit. So it's and there's lots of scope for customization. So you can get these sort of highlight strips in black or gold. This car is riding on 22-inch rims, but you can get all the way up to 23s. But I would say that wouldn't be a good idea, because even on 22s, ride quality is pretty harsh. So you can also get an idea of the scale of the car. You can see it's a big car. It's 5.1 meters long, I think. So it is a huge car, but it sort of manages to hide that mass to some extent. So I wouldn't say it's like an ultra sporty SUV, but it is certainly more agile than I gave it credit for initially. So we can move around to the back also. And I think one of the interesting elements is these little roundels up here, because they're a tribute to the M1. So if you have a memory long enough, and if you're old enough, you'll recall that the M1 also had those roundels on the back. You have these sort of hexagonal exhausts. I don't know, I'm not completely sold on those, but at least it's something different. And then you have sort of reasonable luggage space in the back. It's full of our crap at the moment, but not huge. But I don't know exactly what the capacity is in liters, but I'd estimate probably high 500s, maybe 600 at a pinch. And so there you have the boot. And perhaps then, if you jump into the passenger seat, I'll give you a quick tour of the interior. So you have this sort of curved dash, as BMW calls it. You have a 12.3 inch instrument panel, digital, and then you have this 14.9 inch center screen, and then you have different sort of customization options. So for example, we can go into setup mode, and then you have the opportunity to kind of individually tailor the chassis, steering, brake, X-drive, so you can have comfort or sport settings. Ride quality, as I said, is a bit harsh, so I'd say for sort of most roads, comfort is probably the go, unless you're really on some nice smooth tarmac, then maybe sport. You also have these shortcut buttons. You have M1 and M2. These have been pre-programmed with some settings which the BMW folks have hooked us up with. So you have that, and then as you can see with the cabin, they've really kind of done a lot in terms of mixing up the colors and materials. So you have these sort of quilted seats, which are quite nice, and then you sort of have the contrast with the black dash, but there's loads of options for different sort of trim combinations, materials. I don't know if you can get the roof, but you have this rather, maybe if we go in the back I can show you the roof, because that's quite an interesting element. Oh, and you also get these rather funky XM cushions with the car, so that's another piece of kit. There's loads of space in the back. You know, I'm not huge by any stretch, but there's loads of headroom. As you can see, knee room is ample. And if you can, I don't know if you can show this roof at all, you have this sort of rather interesting geometric patterns, which are quite unusual. And then you have this Bowers & Wilkins premium sound system. So you get quite a lot of bells and whistles with this car, as you'd expect. But then, of course, you can go bananas with the customization options. So there's really no end to it. So yeah, I think that basically wraps up the XM. I think it's something different. Is it a true M car? That's what you might be asking. And I would say yes, in some respects, yes. You can sort of fling it around pretty quickly. It is pretty quick across the right roads. But if you ask me, this feels more like an X5M Plus. So if I was going to put a badge on it, that's probably what I would put. But of course, the marketeers always win in the end. So XM is what we have. So there you have it, my quick wrap of the BMW XM. Let me know in the comments what you think about the styling or just the overall theme of the car. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video.